So when it comes to selling, mindset plays a major role because when I say mindset, it's not just your mindset, it's their mindset and your mindset. So for you to convince them, you should be convinced about your product or service. So that's the only way you can convince someone else to buy your product. How can you be convinced? For that, you need to have a proper product that gives value, that serves the client, that serves the problem the client has. So you should be convinced that your product or service is going to serve the client and serve with their problem. So give a solution to their problem. So if you're convinced about that, then the second thing you need to be convinced about is the price. Even if the problem is solved, but if you feel like it's too much, then the client will feel it. If you feel it's too much, the client will feel that it's too much. They will stall, they will say, I need to think about it, I need to speak to my wife, I need to ask my manager, my boss, my colleague, whoever, and they will try to get away from it because they can feel your energy. Even if the product is so much valuable than what they're paying, but in your head, if you think this is too much, what you think is what they're gonna receive. So that way they will understand as if it's something that they're paying more for. So that's not a good idea. So if you ever feel like your product is too much or too expensive, you need to speak to your managers, you need to speak to other colleagues and see what you're lacking, what you don't know, why you think like that, how do the others sell more. Because the only way you can sell more is by understanding the product and the product features and how the product features are gonna solve your clients' problems. At the same time, you need to understand that it's what they're paying is not too much, and what they're paying is gonna sort their problem out, and they are suffering more by not paying that. If you understand that them not buying is not a good thing for them, and if they buy is gonna solve their problem, then you're gonna convince them somehow because you will try to help them. Another thing you need to know is or focus on is not the money you're getting, but the value they are getting. So the more you focus on them, the more you can sell. When people are thinking about themselves, what they get, or the money they get, or the commission, the bonuses they get, the client will feel it. The client is going to know, oh, this person is not trying to help me, he's trying to somehow push the sale towards me and get my money. So you shouldn't focus on the money, you shouldn't focus on the bonuses, you shouldn't focus on the commissions. What you need to focus on is actually serving that person. If you think that product or service is not going to serve the client, you should stop selling that person. You should tell the person, I don't think this is going to work, and this will give more authenticity, and they are more likely to purchase. They will be like, oh, this is strange, no one tells it's not going to sort the problem. They will always try to push a sale. Why is it telling me this? So then they will ask, okay, what other products do you have? Is there anything else that I might, that might serve my problem? And they will always trust you when you are like that. So try to be authentic, try to be genuine, try to be honest at all times, 100%, so that the client will believe you. And even if they don't buy now, even if they have a genuine problem where they don't have the money or they don't have the finances to purchase it now, they will come back to you knowing that you're not going to lie to them. So this is a very good thing for long term. So that's the mindset. You have to know the product really well, you have to know the value of the product really well, you need to understand the client, you need to understand their requirements, their problems, their issues, and you need to match it with your product or service that you're providing to see if you can actually solve the problems. And when you know these, you will be convinced, you will want to sell it somehow to serve the client. So your objective should be to help the client. When your objective is to help the client genuinely, they will feel it, they will feel the energy, and they will more likely purchase your product. So that is why it's very, very important to have this mindset, and you should believe in the product, you should believe in you selling the product, and you should go past the sale. When you're talking, you have to assume that the buyer is there to purchase it and they will buy it. Don't ever think, oh, this is not going to happen, oh, it's going to be a hard thing. If you think that way before the sale, it's going to be hard. But if you think this is going to be an easy sale because the client needs it and this is exactly what he needs, so you'll be like convinced, and it's easier to convince others when you're convinced. So the next question we have is, should we sell? Of course, you should sell if it's a good product, if it's going to serve the client. So let's see it in a different way. What if you don't sell? So if you don't sell, you're going to be hungry. You're not going to have enough money for your family. Your family is going to be, hungry. No one's going to generate revenue for your business, and your business is going to go down, and it's not going to be beneficial for you. So on the other hand, you have a product or service that serves someone's problem, that will help someone to achieve something. So if you have a genuine product that will serve someone, or if you have something very niche that's going to serve only a little number of people, if you don't market your products, if you don't sell your products, if you don't convince them to buy your products and use your services and solve their problems, they are the ones who are going to suffer, because you have come up with a solution and you have the solution. Now you're keeping it yourself, but you're not giving it, you're not sharing with others so that they can also benefit from your products or services. So that's not a very good thing. In other words, it's a disservice that you're doing if you're not selling, if you're not marketing, if you're not telling others about your product. Once you have produced something, or if you have created a course or some service where you genuinely believe that it's going to serve a lot of people, and if you don't tell others, then it's a disservice. For example, Wright brothers, they invented the plane. What if they didn't tell anyone? What if they didn't market? The computers, the people who invented the computers, the light bulb, imagine they just kept it for themselves. No one's going to benefit. Has it been a service or disservice, them selling it? We are happy to buy. We are happy to pay for computers. We are happy to pay for a phone. If you didn't have a phone, imagine what happens if there was no one with a phone. We'll still be struggling to speak to others. Now we have a phone, and we are gladly paying thousands of pounds or dollars for a phone, a smartphone. First came the normal phone, now it's a smartphone. You have tabs, you have computers, you have so many things that we gladly pay. We always pay if we think the value is higher than the amount we pay. We pay for branded things, we pay for cars, branded clothing. We happily pay for watches. Why? Because we believe that's more valuable than what we pay. We like to have branded things. So why is that? So if you didn't tell anyone, if you didn't market your products, no one's going to know, and that will be a disservice to you, your family, and to your clients and their families. Imagine someone come up with a solution for or a medicine for some disease, and they think, oh, this is not good, and it costs a lot to prepare the medicine or produce the medicine, but they think, oh, if I charge them this much, they're gonna think that I'm not a good person, so I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm not gonna tell anyone. Do you think that's the service, or that's a disservice? Exactly. So if you have a good product, if you have a good service, you must sell, you must market, you have to tell as many people as possible. Not everyone's going to like it, not everyone's going to praise you for that. That's normal. But once they get to know your products, once you can have a discounted rate if you want to at first. I don't suggest you do that, but if you are struggling so much, you can give it for a lesser price. But once you get a certain number of clients, you have to increase the price so that you are getting the right price. So this is important when it comes to marketing and selling, especially with courses or products. You have to charge the right amount. It's not the amount. Most of the time people think, oh, it's the amount that matters, it's the price they pay. It's not the amount, it's whether they serve the purpose or not. If you are providing a solution, they might be happy to pay any amount to get rid of that problem. So imagine you have a big problem and you wanted that problem sorted. For example, you weigh I don't know, maybe 200 kilograms, and you want to get that down to 100 kilograms, and you will be willing to pay even 20,000 if you know that you can get it down to 100 kgs in the next 12 months or 18 months. And if you have a program and if you know it's going to work, you have to tell them, you have to market it, because that's the only way that you can help them get down that 100 kilograms. So it is a disservice if you're not telling them about your products and services. So make sure you have to market, but first of all, find out about your product, find out about the course or your mastermind or whatever you have, but make sure it serves and it solves their problem. If you're convinced that it solves the problem, then go all in on marketing, go all in on selling. Learn a bit about selling, how to close sales, the objections, how to overcome objections. These are very important. When you know how to overcome objections, don't feel guilty about overcoming objections, because you are trying to help. You are genuinely trying to help. So once you overcome the objections and sell that person the product or service, they will feel that you did a service and you really help them. So this is important, to somehow convince them to buy it. Sometimes they have objections that come naturally. For example, it's too high. People will say this is too high for the price. They always say it's too high, or it's not the right time. People procrastinate all the time. They will, I'll do it later. So you got to create some urgency. Then they will take action. If you say, oh, this price is only going to be until the end of the month, so after the month we might increase the price. Or if you say to them, I'm going to have only 10 people in my group call, so I won't be able to take any more than 10, so it's the first 10 who's going to benefit from it, and they might take action. Otherwise they will think, oh, I'll think about it and then I'll come back. If they have no deadline, if they have no urgency, so create some urgency. I'll cover most of the closing techniques after this, but if you check out on my closing techniques, there's a video about 21 closing techniques. Watch that and you get a lot of knowledge about closing techniques, because most of the time people stall, people try to come up with objections which are not really objections, they are complaints. You need to understand and you need to acknowledge what they're saying, but at the same time you don't have to believe in what they're saying and you don't have to go with it. People might say, I don't have money, but what they're saying is most of the time it's they haven't seen enough value for the amount you're charging. So if that's the case, you need to make sure you give enough value, you bring your product or service above the price, most of the time if they say it's too high, what they're saying is I haven't got enough information to justify this price. So you need to bring more value to the product or service. So you talk about the product, more features, maybe how it can solve the problem, so that they will come up with, oh yes, this is more valuable because I didn't know this before. So you have to provide information before you give the price. You need to make sure you give enough information so they have all they need in order to make a decision. So this is also important. And should you sell? Of course you should. Should you market? Of course you should, because without marketing, no one's going to know your product. You've got obscurity. To get rid of obscurity, you got to market your products. You got to be online. You got to take it to the marketplace. You got to go on social media platforms and share thoughts, share value, share posts and videos, and talk about your products and services so they get to know. And that way you will attract your dream clients. So you have to talk to your dream clients. Another thing is you need to understand your dream clients really well. You have to niche it down so that you know exactly who your dream client is, so you can talk to them and talk to their problems and talk about you will know what they're going through in their minds when they're trying to sleep, what keeps them awake. So you speak to them directly and they will resonate with you and your products or services, and they will come follow you and they will build a connection with you before they purchase from you. Then the next step is to create more connection, engage with them, build the trust, and sell. So now these are very important to know, that selling is important to you, your family, and them, your clients and their family. So please do sell. Please do market, otherwise no one's going to know you, no one's going to know your products or services, and you're going to be in the same place every single day, and you're not going to make any money, and they're not going to sort out their problems. They will still have the problem. So this is important that you sell.